Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Black excellence, black beauty, and black pride. Black power from all diasporas coincide. Progressive truth and regression eventually collide. May the beauty of the people no longer be set aside. May the black queen's grace continually mesmerize the millions who couldn't see it when looking into her eyes. And the black man's plight no longer be the disguise. Oppression, emasculation, they wanna castricize him. Take him away from the black queen, put him inside prison for slave labor, he institutionalized. Wondering on the outside, is she willing to ride? Is she willing to ride? Is she willing to fight for the love, even despite the fact that he doing time? Love that conquers all will never fade with time. If she don't choose the love that appreciates every life, his flame might get dim and he may.
The Urban Impact Show is sponsored by Green and Wood Media Services. Green and Wood uses digital media to help businesses, political campaigns, and organizations grow while increasing their community impact. Green and Wood Media is pleased to offer a digital media buying fellowship to train, develop, and mentor young people interested in digital media, politics, and advertising. Learn more at greenandwoodmedia.com.
I like to start this show off by saying I'm tired of this church.
I'd rather you say the church than us, so I'm good with that.
Right, exactly.
Brittany trying to get me in trouble. Said,
Which
well,
one?
Well, which one exactly? Robert, are you tired of? Name names. But she's trying to get me in trouble. First of all, welcome to the Urban Impact Show, y'all. And I must tell y'all, we tired.
Yes.
We are tired. We are tired, man. It is a lot going on in our society. Let me do this plug real quick. We are live from the studio right here in Windsor Heights. You can call or text with questions if you want to book this space, 515-996-0326. On June 2nd, 2022, right a little bit after 7 p.m., I received phone calls, frantic phone calls from friends of mine stating that there was a shooting that happened at Cornerstone Church in Ames, Iowa. Come to find out that there was a young man who had recently been released after being arrested for stalking. He drove up to Ames and shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, her friend, and then shot himself.
Jesus.
Deidre DeGier, myself, and Marvin DeGier, and my nephew Sheldon visited Cornerstone this morning to speak with their pastor, Pastor Mark Vance, who was excited to have us in the place today as they went with worship service today, giving honor to those victims who had lost their lives and the shooter. It's been a heavy time. And then we find out that there were two shootings last night, one in Tennessee where 3 people were shot and killed and 14 people injured. And then in Philadelphia, I should say, 3 people killed, and right now I believe the report is 13 are injured. Let us not forget that on May 14th, 10 black folks were murdered in the grocery store simply because they were black. Let us not forget that 19 babies were killed, shot to death in Texas, just simply because somebody wanted to. But when we take a look at everything that's going on around this country, your silence speaks louder than anything that you've said if you don't use your voice during this time to speak up and to speak out. With that being said, my other host here, are ready to use their voice. We'll start with Lawana, go to Brittany, and then we'll go to Miss Dewana.
Thank you for shooting it over to me. Extremely heavy time, and most of you, if you're a regular watcher of the show, know that I work in homicide for a living, and I'm exhausted. There's been so many over the last 2 years, both here and in other states, that we can't keep up. And this is something that those of us who do advocacy work, both homicide and domestic violence, have been screaming for at least 2 years that this was going to get worse post-COVID. And there's been no changes in policy. A lot of this violence could be prevented with some policy changes. Here in the state of Iowa, there's still no advocacy funds for homicide advocacy. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And the majority of our advocacy programs in Iowa have actually been cut by 13% this year, 22% next year, which means people on the ground like Rob, like Deidre, like all of the other people that have responded who don't get paid are going to have to respond even more. Because there's going to be fewer people to respond, and that's response. That's not even including prevention. There's zero funds for prevention. So I think that we're going to have to start mass community efforts. It's time for communities to come together. What prevents violence is people loving each other, and we're going to have to do this grassroots. And so look for us in the near future to talk about some grassroots efforts. Second half of the show, we're going to talk about Juneteenth. That's a great, time that we all come together. We need to be coming together right now. And I have to give apologies and prayers to the victims and their families because I wasn't able to be present. I just can't right now. I just cannot. I'm exhausted. But I'm still here, you know what I mean? And still looking for large ways to try to combat some of this violence. So that's all I have to say. I'm shooting it to Brittany.
Thank you. I just think that now it's like every week, every month, every few months, something is going on. Like whether it's a shooting or, something is just going on in our community. And I think it's time, I think, for us now to, kind of all like band together and try to help make some type of changes. I don't know what that looks like, but when things like this happen, the first thing I think is like, what can I do? Or what should I be doing more of? And, on one side, how can I protect my family?
Right.
So that we're not at some point victims, and so I think that, obviously our gun laws, in this country need to change. I think they need to put some systems in place because this continues to happen. So it's like, how do people who are in that state of mind, how do they keep getting access to guns and nobody's doing anything about it?
Right.
And so I don't know, but I don't know what that looks like. Yeah. But I think that something needs to change because it's difficult for me as I have younger kids to continue to explain these things, and why it's happening and how to protect yourself or, for my son, he's at his age, it's a lot of whys, like what's going on or him just being scared.
Right.
And so it's like when our kids can't go to school and be safe, when you can't go to church and be safe, you can't be in your homes and be safe, where can you be safe at?
Exactly.
So I think that this is just a very tough time. It's like these past year, weeks, months, something happened. So when does it become a point in time in our country where we get some type of peace, some type of like good things going on or good things happening? Not always have to get together and talk about these type of things.
Right.
So just kind of like you all said, we're just tired and it's heavy right now. Everyone's spirit in this room now is just kind of like heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dewana, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, right there with you all. I don't know what to say or do during this time, except I have this graphic in my bathroom that just says, when things get hard, kneel and pray. That is my go-to when things get tough. So I'm praying for victims' families who are having to deal with this. There's no worse news than to hear that your loved one has been taken in a tragic way. I have a little bit of experience with that with my own children and them losing their father. So anytime these things come up, it's a constant reminder of knowing what that news feels like. I also pray for the person who we don't talk about a lot, but the one who is considering committing the crime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm praying for the person whose mind is not stable right now, who believes that this is the only way to seek justice, who in some way doesn't know how to deal with the issues that are going on in their world, and they feel like this is the answer.
Right.
You know, we don't talk about them. We're quick to vilify them for what they've done and, you know, want to make sure justice is served. But do we continue as a society to do dish justice for those who really need help, who are seeking help and who are not getting it? I am continue to be amazed how we live in the United States of America, supposedly the greatest place, the greatest country to live in, but we have the worst gun laws of all the countries compared.
Absolutely.
We talk about this thing called freedom that we keep trying to tout every time it's something. It's my freedom. You're taking my freedom away. But do you think someone wants to hear that when they get that knock on the door?
Right.
Freedom's the last thing, you know, that they're thinking about. So I'm concerned that we haven't figured this out. I'm concerned that we continue to allow politics to play. You all were being played right now by politics. People will get up and say, well, if we do this, everyone's playing a game because it's all about you. They want your vote. They want this, and they can't say this, that, you know, they don't want to make these people mad. This is a game that people are playing, and it's getting frustrating because you're playing with people's lives over politics.
A deadly game.
Deadly game. You know, in our systems, for the vast technology we have, there's not a way that the gun shop can be alerted when people are purchasing guns or bullets or something to say they've got restraining orders against them or they've got something going on. We can't just get that information so we can alert police.
Is there not a background check? Because think about there's even like a check for even getting your passport to go out of this country. There's even there's all these there's checks, like background checks to get a job, to make money in this country. So to purchase something like a gun, there's no...
You can buy guns at 18, but you can't drink alcohol until you're 21. Make me understand where that makes sense.
Make it make sense.
It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm just with you all. I'm tired. I know that evil is ever present for my faith. It's not a surprise that we're living in these times right now. It's in the Bible, and that's what it says. But it doesn't make it any easier because we become fearful. I don't want that knock at the door. I don't want to be a part of anybody's crossfire. I don't want anybody that I know or don't know to have to deal with these things. And so it's just my long going ranting on and on about just being tired. And I'm tired of us saying we can't figure this out. We can, but we're using our labels to tell us why we can't. Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian, of no affiliation. You all need to figure out as human beings how we come together and figure these things out.
I wonder what it would be like if we got rid of all of the parties in the country and you had to just run. Like you just had, you had to just run. Right. If you wanted to run for office, there wasn't a Democrat or a Republican title. There wasn't any other title. You just had to run. And based upon you running, whoever got the most votes out of that is who won. So
a true democratic process.
Just just run. Just run. There's no nominating process. There's no party. I wonder what would happen if people just had to run. You had to stand on your own without a bunch of parties or anything like that. You had to just stand, because I firmly believe that there are some Republicans who truly grasp the understanding of why this whole abortion thing is a big deal. Of why, and I get it, you know, you have a lot of Christians and a lot of church folks who are like, no, you can't be doing abortions, like that's not of God, right? And then those same Christians turn around and think that the death penalty is okay,
Right.
Or they ignore other life-threatening things that we may need to do. But now obviously people's opinion are their opinion about it, and that's their opinion. And you know, I don't know. I just don't think we have, and then it's shaped by your party, right? Like you could be a Democrat and you can believe, hey, look, I don't necessarily believe in abortion, but because I'm running as a Democrat, I'm going to say it.
Right,
Exactly.
Well, I'm a Republican, and my daughter has had to have an abortion because she was raped. She was raped in college. She had to have an abortion because she was raped in college. But I'm going to stand here and say I don't believe in abortions. Right,
exactly.
And or this fetus is now deceased.
Right.
In this woman's body, and she's forced to carry this dead fetus for 9 months. Right? Like, you know,
and then deliver.
Yeah.
And then go through pain and deliver this dead fetus, right? It's crazy. And then you have you have it's so crazy to me because it's like certain stuff is just so backwards.
Yeah.
It's like how in the world that we find $40 billion to send overseas, and hear me clearly, it's not that I don't believe that we need to help people in the world, we do, but how in the world did we find $40 billion? And literally, I am scraping to find baby formula for 7
Backwards.
months.
Right. It makes no sense. Zero sense at all.
Shout out to Luana, because she was like, yo, you need to hit this store up, see if they got, and we actually found baby formula.
Yay, Grimes.
For and that's almost up, right? Yeah. So now I'm back on the hunt again, right? It's like, and like we found $40 billion to go overseas.
It's like our priorities.
Like, but I'm struggling to feed a 7-month-old that's on formula,
right?
And like, oh well, breast milk. Well, y'all gotta understand. Everybody's body don't work like that. You know?
Exactly.
Everybody's body don't work the same.
Exactly.
Right?
But don't tell me how to feed my baby.
That part.
I might not want to. Like, what is? It's like you're forcing.
And whether you wanted to or not, it ain't their business.
Yeah,
I need formula, or the baby died.
Exactly.
The one that you wanted to force her to have in the first place, dies without formula.
Yeah, that part.
And so it's
I am
backwards.
so with you on that, because you know we're really still talking about life and death.
We are.
We really are. Yeah. You know, so now
these
we
guns are life and death.
Life and death. Yeah. And
all these pro-lifers, right? Oh, you don't want anybody to choose, but you okay with bang bang, shoot them up.
Right. That part. And then when we approached the legislature and we asked for a mere $10 million to do prevention. Out of $40 billion to do prevention, to bring the community together, to respond more quickly and more effectively and more culturally responsively to the shootings we're responding to now. We get, well, the Democrats won't say yes. Well, the Republicans won't say yes. Neither are saying yes. And so what happens is $40 billion goes somewhere else. And yet we open the show talking about this mass shooting that we had here in our state, and we are having many. We've had many over the last 6 months. Yeah. It's ridiculous, and it's time out. I've had enough. There 0 funds from this state go to homicide advocacy.
Trey, are you able to zoom
and
in
only
on
5
this?
for only 5 for domestic violence and sexual assault, but none for domestic violence homicide.
Right.
So I'm.
What is that?
I'm about to tell you. I want Trey I want you to zoom in on that. I want you to zoom in on that.
It's not showing up. We gotta switch camera.
We good? You see it?
I don't.
Welcome to live recording, y'all.
Right.
It's good? Okay. All right. So I want y'all to see this. The reason I'm showing this is because there was a young lady who was attacked, tossed, beaten, and head banged into the concrete by her son's father, who was not arrested, who has no charges pending, who doesn't have to pay anything,
Wow.
Tap your phone.
who doesn't have to pay anything. I think we got it. Yeah. Who doesn't have to pay anything. Truth of the matter, y'all, is that is a physical representation of what our society is looking like and going through.
That is a really good.
This young lady's that was the back of her head. She now, as of yesterday, she put on Instagram, she is now suffering from seizures. She can't think straight. She can now barely even raise her son because of what took place. And now she had to have brain surgery. And there is nothing
Right.
in
the news.
Right.
being done.
That.
Where is this at?
This I'll look it up again. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I saw that and I thought about where we are as a country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you a story, right?
Right.
Like this is technically abuse.
Yeah.
is.
Absolutely.
This is technically abuse.
Right. Absolutely.
This is abuse. That young lady's head is literally a physical manifestation of what we're like. Literally, this young lady. And then I saw, so she had a picture where she had a wig on, right? And the wig was kind of sideways, and people were commenting like, "Your wig is
Don't do
sideways." Not even understanding
Yeah.
Yeah.
that, not even understanding that in order for it to even be comfortable on her head, she had to put it sideways. But even the fact that she had to put it sideways, she still wouldn't even know if it was on straight because of where her head is. She couldn't, her equilibrium was off.
And she has to wear one because I'm sure her head is shaved.
Yes.
Because of the
Because
surgery.
and did y'all see that? Literally, this the back of this girl's skull is stapled together.
And nothing happened to him.
Nothing.
And that, you're right. That is, we're right now held together by staples or by threads.
Yeah.
Right now. And nothing.
No. And
That's,
nothing.
That is an excellent physical manifestation of where we
That's
are.
how we're all hanging on right now. Like literally by threads right now and staples. And it's how we're trying to make it.
I sent Rob this video earlier in the week with this young lady, and it was like to a T, kind of like what we're all going through. She made a song just kind of to Joe Biden and was just kind of like singing to him like, this is what we're going through. You promised us all these things to get you in the White House, and where are you? And she like talked about every event that happened. Like, you know, my grandma is scared to go to the grocery store and shop by herself because of this. Like, we need you. Where are you? Like, it was deep.
I've got a cousin who literally can't work because her baby's got COVID, but she can't. How does she pay the bills?
That part.
Because she can't. You're telling her she can't come to work because her kids have COVID. The daycare is saying don't bring them, so she's got to stay home. Then she can't go to work because they're saying we don't want you there either. She's stuck. She's trying to get her food stamps increased. She's trying to get her, get the things she needs for her bills. And it's like we tell people this and we put them in these situations, but we're not helping them.
Right.
So what are they supposed to do? So she's stuck in her house for the next 10 days, whatever days. We change it all the time now with COVID. So now we change it as we go along. But the fact of the matter is that she can't be present to provide for her kids. And she can't find anywhere here to get this done. She's got a friend who's in a similar situation of, everything is a waiting game. Okay, well, we'll get your information and we'll see what we can do. People can't wait for the very basic things they need to survive.
Like food.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shelter. I mean, we are denying people the basic things that they need to survive.
When are they going to announce?
Why?
When are they going to announce that we're in a recession right now? When are they going to announce it?
I don't know why.
So they did.
They did. I was going to say, I believe they did.
Inflation and recession is where we are. And for people who truly don't understand inflation, please, inflation is very hard to explain, but I'm going to attempt to do it the best of my ability. I'm not an economist, but I understand how inflation works, right? So the cost of goods to make, right? So let me back up. Everything is based off of supply and demand, right? So we all need baby formula, right? We all need shoes. So the demand of these things are in great number. So we supply them in great number. And because there's a lot of them and you can go many different places and get them, that drives the cost down. When there is little of something and I don't mean to be bougie on this, but let's say like a Gucci bag, right? Or something like that, right? When there's little of something, even with the demand high, and there's little of something, I can charge a certain price because if you want this bag, you're going to be willing to pay that price because there's only a few of those items.
Right.
What happens when inflation is that there is a demand of normal things and there's little supply of it.
Right.
And so that drives the cost of getting these things out quicker up. And so then when that cost is then transferred to us as the consumer.
Right.
So if you noticed, what you were paying $100 for before, you're now paying $180 for the same stuff that you was paying $100 for before. That means inflation has gone up.
Right.
Restaurants. So if you ever went to a restaurant and you were only paying $10 for a meal and now you're paying $13.50 for that same meal, that's because inflation has gone up.
The dollar store.
The dollar store used to be $1, now it's $1.25 plus tax.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Plus tax. And so now and that 25 cent is on every single item.
Exactly.
And there's 1,000 items in there, right? And so and you're not buying probably just one of them. You're probably buying multiple of these different items, right? And so that drives the cost up. And so in order for us to try and control inflation, what we have to do is start to push more supply into the supply chain and try and bring that down, bring the cost of making it down because the demand is high.
Right.
I'm not going to keep going because I could probably lose some other people. But
no, that was a good explanation.
Just understand, we're really, I know we got to take a break here, but we're really in some trouble, y'all, because we're paying more for items that we need for stuff that we already couldn't afford in the first place.
Exactly.
That's a good way to put it.
That's right.
So I'm paying $5 a gallon in gas just to get to a job that I'm already struggling to pay the rent and pay childcare for.
Exactly. And food.
It doesn't make
and
sense.
Food, right?
And then we wonder why we're having mass violence events.
Nevertheless, we need help.
Right.
We need help around the board.
I'm stressed because and let's not even look at where, and I don't mean to make this into a singular issue on women, right? But let's look at a lot of our single moms who are juggling that, and I'm looking at it from my mother's perspective, right? I'm thinking about my mom as I'm saying this. Did it with 3 kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
On the bus in Chicago's weather, in Chicago's violence, trying to make ends meet. And stuff wasn't even as high as it is now.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
And so just think about those. And then we, as a people, there are systems in place that we created. We
Right.
created these systems.
Right.
It's hard to get food stamps because the system we created. It's hard to get Section 8 approved because we created it. Like all of that stuff we made. We made those
Right.
rules.
Right.
We
Yep.
made those policies.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like come on, guys. But and then we make fun of people and try to look down on people who need these services. In reality, all of us need the service.
I know I do.
Because it's like, come on now. Like there is so much happening in this world right now, right? Like and let's not even talk about our prison systems.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
don't get
Right?
started.
That's a whole nother
Yes, that
show.
is a whole show.
Where we
That
put
is a whole
somebody
show.
into a mental a mental hospital called jail.
Right.
Where there is violence being taken place, sexual predators being taken place, things happening behind those bars that we are not privy to as a
Right.
public,
Right.
Because some of
Exactly.
them are privatized.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's making money off of somebody going to jail, but that's another topic, right? And then we release these individuals back into society, to come back into certain communities to create moments where they don't even have help, where they having PTSD when the door shuts behind them because of what happened to them while they were supposedly paying for their crime that they committed, which was selling a bag of weed.
Right, exactly. And then think about this: we're releasing people
Backwards,
back
backwards.
now into their homes, and they get exposed to COVID, and they're locked away again.
Yeah.
You know? We're
Yep.
all being locked away.
Yeah.
Like the 2 people that you talked about, right? And so now we're 2 years into this being masked, which is originally punishment, by the way, and being locked away and isolated. I mean, all of this melds together, to just be a cluster F. You know?
That was the funniest way.
Thank you. I did before. I couldn't stop it. The word was coming out, and then I halted right before.
You caught it. You caught it.
Yeah,
caught
you
it.
did.
We have to take
I
a
know
break.
we do have to take a break. We wasn't even gonna be talking to y'all this long, but this is what happens
I knew
when
this
you
was
just
going to happen.
we just keep going and going and going. So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna talk next about Juneteenth. So don't you go nowhere. We'll be right back with the Urban Impact Show.
Duana?
Oh, we're on. I was looking down, y'all. I'm so tired
I could've sworn
because
you
of
said-
Juneteenth. I swore I said Rob was bringing us back in.
Yes.
And he played
said
me, y'all.
Rob?
Yes.
He played me, y'all. That's
Well, welcome back to the
okay.
Urban Impact Show.
Thank you, Rob.
Welcome back to the... I must have forgot.
That's why I was looking
That was
down.
my fault.
You're trying to hold stuff in.
Oh, man. Hilarious. Hey, y'all. So I know we just got done talking about very sobering stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this part, we're going to liven it up a little bit.
Yes.
Get a little bit more excitement to it because June is also an opportunity for us to celebrate Juneteenth.
Yay.
And our hosts here are going to talk about what Juneteenth means to them. I don't know if Duana or me, whichever one of us is going to go through stuff that you could participate in. We'll decide it on the fly. Y'all know how we do. And we're going to let Duana talk last on this one because she has the most to say because she's in charge of Iowa Juneteenth and she's been doing it now for the last 7+ years. So we're excited. I know I'm excited for the gospel celebration, which will have Bishop J. Drew Sheard. For those who don't know, if you're looking to equate this bishop to somebody, you can equate him to being something very similar to like the Black Pope. If you're trying to figure out who this man is, the impact that this man has, the power that this man has, he is the leader of the largest African American Pentecostal denomination in the world with over 6 million members. Their presiding national bishop, their national president, is coming to Des Moines. Like, that's how big of a deal this is. And that's why I wanted to explain that, because I don't know if people really know like how big of a deal this is.
Right.
Like, this man, this man is literally like one of the largest, most sought out bishops in the world, because of his position and who he is to the Church of God in Christ Incorporated, which is their Pentecostal denomination. With that, what about you, B? What's happening?
What does it mean to me, or what I'm excited about?
Either one.
I'm excited about the events. I did look at the list that's been circulating online, and a lot of good events. I kind of made mental notes of things that I wanted to attend.
Which one in particular?
I'm excited for the Gospel Fest. I think that's going to be cool. I went a few, because we've had this. I remember there was one at a church that we had a few years ago. Yeah. That was pretty fun, and excited about that. It looked so there's like the father and son basketball thing.
Right.
Yep. I thought about telling my son, with his dad, see if that's something that they would want to do together. But I think for me, this day is just, I would say, thinking about when we were free, the slaves were free. I think learning in school, they kind of don't really do justice on this day or teach you, especially in California.
Touchy subject.
They didn't really teach you growing up about what it means. So I think I learned a little bit more about this day as I got older, and how important it was. And I think for me is wanting to, pass that on to my son and let him know, like, you ain't gonna really learn about it, baby, in school. Right. So this is what it means.
Yeah. Right.
And this is why it's important. And these are why we should celebrate and do some of the things that we do, this day. So I'm excited about having him come along with me to some of the events so he can learn and understand what it means.
Bring him to my house. I'll give him a whole education. Even stuff.
Save him.
Even stuff that you don't traditionally see. Just bring him over. I'm ready. Like I was saying earlier, it's important for us to come together in community. Dewana and I were talking earlier. You'll notice if you look at some of Iowa Juneteenth materials, you'll notice it says Juneteenth observance. That's important to me because we are observing the event. We are observing what happened. We are celebrating each other, right? But we're not celebrating the act itself because it sucks, right? We're not celebrating being in bondage,
right?
But we are observing, right? We're observing, but we're celebrating each other, and I feel like that's what we need to do right now. I am very looking forward to Neighbors Day. Coming together. It's always, everybody's typically there. And I'm looking forward to the banquet. I'm looking forward because the food is really good. Yeah. The food is really good. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the Gospel Fest and doing the show from the Gospel Fest. So I'm ready for that, and I think it's it's time.
Are we gonna need tickets to the do viewers need tickets to the banquet? Like,
no. Do we need? No.
Yeah.
We can't say that on camera.
Bro, sorry.
We'll talk after the cameras off.
Saying, like,
after the cameras off.
For our viewers, so they know, like,
yes, you do need tickets to the
Okay.
banquet. You can go to iowajuneteenth.org and you can purchase tickets, sign up to be a vendor, sign up to volunteer. Right. We've already done sign-ups for performers and stuff like that. So if you missed that, sorry. One thing before we throw it to Dewana, I'm excited about this Culture and Color event that's going to happen on Friday.
That's going to be so dope.
So I tried to see if I can order a bright pink suit. Okay. Like they do, like they do in Detroit.
Why you can't find one?
I couldn't find one in my size and time.
Well, buy one and then buy one and just have it like tailored.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to like.
You actually might have time still to
Yeah.
get it made.
So
It's on the 17th, right?
Yeah.
The 17th.
yeah, it's on the 17th, and so I don't know. I was looking for like this bright pink outfit because I'm dark skinned.
Yeah.
And so
We're not about to talk about colorism while we're talking about Juneteenth, Rob.
I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, I was looking, and so because I can't do that, I think I'm gonna show up in all black.
Okay. Oh my God. You're gonna be hot.
No.
cannot.
We'll get a pink shirt. Get a pink shirt.
Shout out to Tiffany Jordan, who's doing
The event. She's
culture
throwing the
color.
event. Yeah, that's gonna be so
Yes.
dope.
Bella Love. You may want to get your tickets ASAP on that
Yeah.
also because there's only limited space.
It is.
So if you're trying to see whatever outfit I decide to show up in, you may want to get your tickets.
Get
like,
your
ASAP.
tickets now
80 to
before they sell
85
out.
tickets is all we put out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
know
it.
that.
Yes,
That's
it's limited amount because we wanted to be mindful of this time and the space that we're in.
So
too.
those of y'all,
yes.
those of y'all who think you're gonna show up and get
You
in,
better
You will
get your
not.
tickets like today.
I'm sorry. All right, Dewana, it's on you,
Yeah,
and then
it's
we'll take a break.
okay. Well, I'm gonna make this kind of not too long, maybe, but yeah, I'm gonna try not to make this long because I get really excited about Juneteenth. I always tell this story of that I didn't know what I had until years later. So when I got custodianship of Juneteenth, thanks to Gary Lawson, huge shout out to Gary because all of this is because of him. I just added to what he already had in place. So I'm very grateful that he saw fit for my family to have custodianship of this, but I did not even know what Juneteenth was when I got it.
Really?
I had never heard of Juneteenth before.
How we've been?
No,
It's been observed here for 32 years.
because I never attended one here. So I'm just telling my truth now. Y'all know I'm just transparent.
That's
I had
right.
never attended a Juneteenth event.
Wow.
I had never been educated about Juneteenth.
Wow.
So actually, when Gary gave us Juneteenth, I was literally trying to go through, research.
Right,
What is
right.
this that I have? And I
Right.
still didn't at that time. I just said yes because at that time I was saying yes to everything. So I was like, yeah,
Right.
sure,
Yeah,
give it to
absolutely.
me. We'll take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Had no clue.
Wow.
No clue.
Wow.
So I've educated myself on Juneteenth
And
over the
actually,
years.
not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but actually that worked out great because you have been steward over some of the best Juneteenth observances.
Thank you.
And it's probably due to you having to do the research.
Yeah, no history, no knowledge, no nothing. I just started to figure out what I had, and the more I dug into the history of it,
Right.
that's what makes this so important to me.
Exactly.
When you're talking about the fact of, we can talk about Emancipation Proclamation. We can talk about not getting word to Galveston, Texas until 2.5 years later. So in case y'all don't know, June 19th is June plus 19th. You put it together, you've got Juneteenth.
Right.
But this is so much more than that. This is about Black people coming together to celebrate, like completely celebrate who they are,
Right, right,
what they've been going through,
right.
and how they're going to get to a brighter future.
Right.
Like that's what this day was about. Their food, their words. It was the words of our ancestors of the past that brought people together, and we really talked about how are we going to move forward.
Right.
And what's so beautiful about Juneteenth is we have to look at our past. Like we have to have those conversations about our past, as painful as it is, to prepare us for our future.
Right.
To appreciate where we are right now. So I love Juneteenth because I do that every single year. Every year I go back and read more stories about Juneteenth.
Right.
Early celebrations, what it means.
Right.
What I do that every single year because I can't talk about it if I don't know anything about it,
Yes.
and I
Exactly.
can't be about it. So for me,
Exactly.
I make sure that everything we try to do is Black.
Right.
Them folks on the stage, it's
Right.
gonna be Black folks.
Right.
The people that we do business with, we try our very best. The
Right.
majority of them are Black folks.
Right.
Like during this time, we pour back
Yes.
into our community
Yep.
Exactly.
because that's what this day is about, this month, however you want to phrase it, is about. Y'all, it's not about where we have Juneteenth.
Right.
I just want
Right.
to say that. It's not about the location.
Right.
We have made this, I'm serious. I'm going to say it because y'all gave me the mic, so I'm free to talk. This is not
what you
about
gotta
a
say.
location.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter if you celebrate Juneteenth at Evelyn K. Davis Park, or if you celebrate it in your home, or if you celebrate it with us downtown.
Right.
West Des Moines, Ankeny, Clyde. I don't care where you celebrate Juneteenth.
Right.
But if you don't show up to be a part of a celebration because you're mad about where the location is, that's on you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's not what that day was about. You think folks back in the 1800s was talking about, well, I'm not showing up because you didn't have it at my house this year.
Right.
They're
Right.
not doing that.
Right.
And those are the little things that divide our community that just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
won't show up because you don't like the location.
Right.
And you don't
right.
see the other ethnic groups
Doing that.
bashing each other online because of their cultural celebrations is somewhere where they didn't like it to be, right?
Yep.
Like you don't see that. You don't see other
You
ethnic groups
don't, but
bashing
we
each other.
are great at tearing each other down. I had someone get online and personally tell me I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know my history and I didn't know nothing about a Juneteenth.
Wow.
And I feel for people like that because the day is what you make it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have time for the foolery of people and their things that they have to say and what they don't like. I do this because of what it means to me. This is my interpretation of what I believe the city needs.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. And that's why I love what I do. But it's so disheartening to watch people go back and forth. I mean, we had people getting upset because Manifestival was down there. Capital City Pride was coming down.
Really?
It's that silliness. Oh, well, they're down there. Are they running things? Does it matter?
Right.
Like,
Just
we're
come.
celebrating
Yeah.
Juneteenth. I just really need you to stop. So I have to get that out there because we are our own worst enemies when it comes to stuff like this. We tear each other down on the littlest of things
Right.
instead of building each other
Yeah.
up. The purpose of this day was for our ancestors. They were building each other up
Yeah.
during that time. They were coming together. They were singing the spirituals. They were the word was being poured into them. They were talking about how they could improve themselves, how they could have a better life. That's what they were doing. They weren't sitting there fussing and fighting over it was here and not there and you showed up and they didn't do that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I'm asking people to come out this year because our theme is wisdom among us and the wisdom is all around us.
Right.
It's at the palm of your hand. Like you get on your phone, you can go find out the wisdom of the people of the past and of the present right now. Like it's all around you. But what I'm not going to stand for this year is your negativity.
Yes.
I will not receive it. So I'm
Yeah.
telling you that right now. You can spew it at us.
Right.
You can say you don't like something. You can get mad at someone, but it will not be received in my spirit because the team that I have works entirely too hard
Yeah.
to put on this event
That is
year
true.
after year after year. They give their time over and over and over again. So I'm going to say for all you naysayers out there that don't like what's going on, keep your negativity at home because Iowa Juneteenth folks, we're not taking it and we're not entertaining it. That's
Right.
family included. I got all kinds of folks to talk about Juneteenth, so I'm talking to all of y'all.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that here.
Right.
I do too much.
And what a nod to our Black-owned businesses that are vendors at the event.
Oh yes,
You
Neighbors
know?
Day is. That's why Neighbors Day is so amazing.
Exactly.
Because the most beautiful thing that I look back at the pictures and you just see this line going down Locust and down Walnut, and you just see these Black businesses just there selling products,
Right.
promoting themselves. It's the most beautiful thing you see. So my two favorite times are Neighbors Day
Yeah.
and the banquet.
Yeah, mine too.
I love it. Not
Me
because
too.
I'm the banquet speaker, just in case you
Right.
didn't know. Not because
I
of
got
that.
an award last year.
Yeah, not that we gave Luana an award
Right.
too, but Rob's going to be the MC this year. It's not because of all of that. It's
Right.
because it's just a beautiful thing to look out in the crowd and
Right.
see people like that look like you.
Let me get my beard sprayed
You know?
on for the banquet this year.
What are you doing this year?
Get my beard sprayed on.
Why are you
I
shaving
am
it off?
stop it.
No, I'm just having, spray it.
Okay, guys.
Some extra,
Yeah,
a little extra over here and a little extra over there. So
Beijing.
we're super excited.
Right.
June 16th is the banquet.
banquet.
We probably have less than 100 tickets left for that banquet. There's only two things for Juneteenth that cost. It's the banquet. Those tickets are $60 a piece. June 16th. 6 p.m., 5 p.m. social hour. Shout out to Wilma Bradley. That's her birthday. So we're all going to sing happy birthday to my grandmother on Juneteenth. That's her birthday that day at the banquet. So we're going to do that. But then the Culture of Color event costs $25. Okay. We try our very best not to charge people. Right. It's the last thing you want to do is have to pay for event after event after event. Right. So we try our very best. Thanks to our sponsors. I want to shout out and say that Iowa Juneteenth is presented by, first time in 7 years, we've got a presenting sponsor in Wells Fargo. So I just want to give a shout out to Wells Fargo for stepping up and making history with us and being our first presenting sponsor. And we have a ton of other sponsors. This year, we had a record-breaking 25 sponsors. That's awesome.
Wow, that's really awesome.
This year, the most we've ever had. We have been blessed over and beyond what I could ask or think this year. And so super excited.
Out there, you should be sponsoring Juneteenth. Like there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. It's a good look for you.
Right.
No, it is. And I'm coming for you next year. I've already got my list. So if you're not on the list this year, because I've planned next year already, I have you on my list to reach out to you because I want you a part of it. It's not even about the dollars, which are great to have. It's just that you're helping us do some amazing things in the month of June.
Right. And you owe it. It's reparations, damn it. You owe it and stop trying to profit.
We got to take a break though.
We do. Yep, we said we weren't going to talk an hour, but I guess we've made it.
I knew
so
that
let's
was going to happen. There's one quick thing that I want to say real quick, just kind of bouncing back to the victims. And bouncing forward to July, there's an annual victims walk every year, July 30th. Okay. And so if you've been affected, if you're at home, you're wondering what to do, show up to the annual victims walk, July 30th, put on by Mothers Against Violence. Go to their Facebook page and you can get location. Okay,
Wonderful.
I'm
go ahead.
going to say this and we go on to break. Juneteenth is going to be a time of celebration and opportunity. I do want to mention my team just sent me some information that at least 80 people are now confirmed dead from an attack where a man walked into a Catholic church in Nigeria, opened fire, and then let off a bomb.
See.
So let's be in prayer for one another.
Yes,
absolutely.
Let's do that, and then we're gonna come back with close as we close this out. So we're gonna take a quick break.
Welcome back, everybody. I think it was we said that the show was going to be 30 minutes, but we did go a little bit over that.
I knew. I didn't even comment.
But I feel like it was good conversation. I think that right now our community, our country, we're in a state of emergency with all these things going on. So I think it's good for everyone to take time, for yourself, for your family, make sure that your mental health is not in a bad state with continuously to have to live life, but going through these type of things and, us getting ready for Juneteenth. Right. Pretty excited about a lot of the events. Make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, you check out the Urban Impact page. There is a list of all the events that'll be going on for Juneteenth. Make sure you get your tickets to both events and just come out and support.
Yeah, I would agree. Say the same thing. I actually don't have anything to close with today. Can you believe it? Other than the fact that, Rob got even shorter, if you can believe it. Kidding. So yeah, just happy to, have had this conversation. I knew it wasn't going to be 30 minutes when we started out saying that. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but excited to see y'all in person, you know, as we get closer. And that's it for me.
Well, I'm going to keep it really short, too, and I'm going to turn it over to Sheldon as soon as I say these words, because I'm going to make it really simple, that we need to live our day like it's our last, and we need to love on everybody and each other while we have the chance, and maybe if we started looking at life through that lens, we would treat each other a little bit better. So, Sheldon, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey, Sheldon.
Thank you for watching the Urban Impact Show, and I hope you come back and watch next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Everybody say hey to Sheldon. Doing a great job closing us out. We'll see you next week.